Hi, thank you for joining me. My name is Erica, and I'm a yoga, mindfulness, and anxiety coach. And today we're going to be doing a nice energizing vinyasa flow, focusing on strengthening the body and really giving it a good stretch. So if you enjoy this video, please will you do me a favor and subscribe to my channel. That not only helps me, but it also helps you to not miss any of the videos that I post. All right, so we're going to begin in Virasana. I like to sit in Virasana on a block to start off, just to take the pressure off my knees. So once you've found your comfortable seat, resting your hands on your thighs or your knees, take a deep breath in, sigh it out, and then just gently close your eyes. And take a few moments to let go of the day and to bring yourself here to your mat. Focus on your inhalations and your exhalations. Trying to really expand your inhalations and lengthen your exhalations, releasing and letting go, allowing yourself to relax. Taking one more deep inhalation and exhalation. And very gently opening your eyes. We're going to start by limbering up the spine. So you're just gently going to arch your spine and relax it down to a child's pose position. And then breathing in, curl your spine up vertebrae by vertebrae. And then keep doing this in a wave motion, going as low down as is comfortable for you. Remembering to just be gentle. We're only starting our practice. And just doing one more, coming all the way down, holding on to your ankles, and then just pushing your pelvis up towards the sky and rolling onto the crown of your head. Try not to turn your neck in this pose. Just feeling a nice stretch into the shoulders. And then very gently coming back, removing your block if you had one underneath you, just into a child's pose, taking a deep breath in and out. Maybe a sigh. And then gently rolling up, opening up your knees, bringing your big toes to touch, walking your hands out, stretching your back, forehead down. Walking your hands over to the left corner, placing your right hand over your left, and then releasing your forehead down and drawing your right hip down towards your right heel. And swapping sides, walking your hands all the way across,
Placing your left hand on top of your right, forehead down, and then pressing that left hip down. And coming back to center. Bringing your hands by your face, placing your knees hip width apart, tabletop position. Just stretching into your wrists for a moment. You can turn your hand one way and then the other way and just make fists stretch out your wrists, and then the other hand, turning your fingers to face you one way, and then turning your hand and making fists. And then coming to your tabletop, you're going to stretch into your left leg, just getting into that calf muscle for a moment. And then you're going to turn your toes to place your left foot flat on the ground. And you're going to circle your left arm over in big circles. And just to warm up that shoulder. And then taking your arm over your ear. And as you breathe in, lifting your left leg. And using that core, engaging in your core. Now on an exhalation, you're going to bring your hand and your foot to touch. So try and keep your arm and your leg in one line. Try not to dip. Use your core. One more time. And then on your next inhalation, bring your leg all the way around and place it down in front of you, foot flat, setting up for a low lunge. Take a deep breath in. Extend your arms up. If you need to use a rolled up blanket or roll your mat up, if your knee is feeling it, rather do that than bringing pain to your knee. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, right hand down to the mat, left palm turns to face the side, and you're looking up towards your left hand. Take a deep breath in. As you bring your body up, keep your arms twisted. Take a deep breath in again. And try to take your left hand to your right thigh and bring your right arm over. One more deep breath in. As you breathe out, take both your hands to the inside of your left foot. Walk your left foot out just a touch. Keep your left hand by your left foot and open up your right arm to the ceiling. Take one more deep breath in. And as you breathe out, taking that right hand out, walking that left foot out a little bit further and turning it out, bringing your elbows down for a lizard. Big deep breaths. And then on your next inhalation, tucking in your back foot, stretching your leg, just holding it here for a moment. And then bringing both your hands flat onto the mat. Walk that left foot back in slightly so that your feet are about hip width apart. And then set yourself up for a crescent lunge. So you're going to engage in your abdominals, engage in your pelvic area, and bring your body all the way up. So you can either slightly arch if that's available to you, or you can keep your back straight. Either way, draw your belly button towards your spine. Big breaths. And on your next exhalation, taking your right hand down to the mat, left palm turns to face the side, and you're looking up towards your left hand. And on your next inhalation, you're going to go into a side plank. Either your left foot is going to support you, or you can take your left foot to rest either in front of your right foot, like that, or on top of your right foot. And breathe. And then taking your left foot behind you in a wild thing. So you're up on the ball of your left foot. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, take that left arm down, place yourself all the way down onto the mat. Bring your feet flat on the mat. Your hands are behind you, fingers facing forward, and you're going to push up in a tabletop position. Couple of deep breaths. And as you breathe out, gently releasing, bringing your feet around, back to your tabletop position. Stretching into your right leg this time, getting into that calf muscle. Big breaths. And then turning your right foot so that your right foot goes flat on the floor, bringing your body erect, so using your abdominals, and then starting the big circles to get into your shoulder. And one more circle, bringing your ear in line with your arm, and then on an inhalation, engaging in your core, lifting your right leg parallel. Now, keeping your core engaged, you're going to bring your right foot to touch your right hand. So keep going. One more time. And on your next inhalation, bringing your leg all the way around to your low lunge. Finding your position, taking a deep breath in, extending your arms up. And on your next exhalation, left hand down to the mat. Right palm turns to the side. You're looking up towards your right hand. And on your next inhalation, bringing your body up, taking that right hand back, your left arm lifts to shoulder height in a twist. Take one more deep breath in. As you breathe out, right hand to left, back left thigh, and your left arm comes overhead. One more deep breath in. And as you breathe out, Taking your hand down, you're going to just walk that foot slightly out. Keep your right hand to the inside of your right foot and extend your left arm up in an open twist. And then releasing it back down. Open that foot one more time. Now turning that right foot out into your lizard. Then tucking in your back foot, stretch into that leg, lifting your knee off the ground. Hold it for a moment. And then placing both your hands flat on the mat, walk your right foot in so that your feet are about hip width apart, setting up for your crescent lunge, engaging in your core, and then extending your arms up overhead. Then either a gentle arch of your spine, or you can keep your back straight up. Draw your belly button towards your spine. Deep breaths. On your next exhalation, left hand down to the floor, right palm turns, and you look up towards your right arm, right hand. Now engaging here, going into your plank by either resting your right foot on the floor or taking your right foot in front of your left or placing your right foot on top of your left in your side plank. Big breaths. And then taking that right foot behind you onto the ball of your foot and circling your arm over, pushing up your pelvis in a wild thing. And then bringing your pelvis down to the mat, bringing both your legs together, hands behind you, pointing your fingers towards you, and then pushing your pelvis up. Your body is in one line. Couple of deep breaths. And releasing down, bringing your feet around again into your tabletop. And just tucking your toes for a moment and hovering your knees just off the mat. And then pushing up to a downward facing dog. And just pedaling your feet for a moment. Stretching into your downward facing dog. Taking your right hand to the outside of your left ankle and looking underneath your left shoulder. And releasing, swapping sides. And releasing, taking a deep breath in. As you bend your knees, you can step or hop to the front of your mat. Hang in Uttanasana for a moment. Ardha Uttanasana, flattening your back. Hands flat on the mat. Step back to your plank position. And then Chaturanga or knees on the mat through your Vinyasa. Yogi's choice. If your knees are on the mat, you'll go into your Bhujangasana. And then we will meet back in your downward facing dog. Taking a deep breath in, lifting your right leg. Just circling your ankle for a moment one way. And then circling your ankle the other way. And as you breathe in, step your right foot all the way through, setting up Virabhadrasana number 2. Windmilling your arms all the way through, relaxing down. Drawing your belly button towards your spine, relaxing your shoulders, and looking over your right hand. Into a dynamic movement. As you breathe in, elbow to thigh, left arm overhead. Breathing out, reverse warrior. Breathing in, all the way. I'm just doing this a few times. One more time. Finishing off with your elbow on your thigh, really bending into that front knee. Take a deep breath in and out. And back to your warrior 2 for a moment. And as you breathe in, taking your right hand down to the mat, your left palm faces the side wall, open twist. Now from here, you're going to take your left hand, turn it behind you, and see if you can wrap your left hand behind your back. Either you can find your thigh, you can grab hold of your thigh. If you can't, you can just place your hand at your sacrum sort of area. Well, you might need a block for this, but if you need a block to stretch your leg, place your hand on a block. If not, we're just going to do a few stretches, dynamic movement. So you're going to go from your bent position, stretch into your, almost like a Trikonasana, and bend, stretch. Just keep doing this a couple more times. And then staying in the stretch position for a couple of breaths. And then bending well into that knee. You can either stay here for a few breaths, or you can try going into a bind where you're taking your right hand underneath your thigh, finding your hands or finding a strap. Just staying here for a moment. Breathing into it. And then releasing. Stretching into that leg, into your Trikonasana for a moment. Taking a couple of deep breaths in and out. And then breathing out. Bringing both your hands to the front mat, turning your back foot and stepping it back to a plank and through your Vinyasa. Once you get to your downward facing dog, taking a deep breath in and either stepping or hopping to the front of your mat. Ardha Uttanasana. Uttanasana, folding over. And as you breathe in, stepping your left foot back and turning your body to face the side wall. So now your feet are going to be turned in and your heels are slightly apart. So from this position, you're going to have a nice flat back. I want you to take your hands to your hips and just bring your back up for a moment. You're going to interlace your hands behind you at your sacrum. So feel your shoulders opening up. Stretch into your arms first. Take a deep breath in. Look up towards the ceiling. And as you breathe out, you're going to hinge forward. To fold all the way down. Your arms will come over your head. And just relax here. Breathing into it. And then gently releasing your hands down to the mat. Turning both your feet to face your left foot. And then setting yourself up for your warrior two, Virabhadrasana. Windmilling your arms up. And settling into the asana for a moment. Draw your shoulder blades down. And into your dynamic movement. So reverse warrior, elbow to thigh, arm overhead. And into reverse warrior. And keep doing this a few times. One more time. And then staying with your elbow on your thigh, your arm over your head. Take a few deep breaths in and out. And then back to your warrior two for a moment. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, left hand to the inside of your left foot, stretching your right hand up. Now this is where you may need a block. So either placing a block underneath your left hand or keeping your left hand on the floor. You're going to turn your right palm, wrap your right hand either to connect with your sacrum, or if it can go further, to hold your left thigh. So you're going to have to bend quite well for that. And then a dynamic movement. So stretch and bend. And just make it mindful and slow. And then coming to bend your knee. And if you'd like to go into the bind, you can either stay here or you can take your left hand underneath your thigh and find your right hand. Just breathe into it for a few seconds. And then just releasing that left hand down, stretching your right hand up into a Trikonasana. Take a deep breath in and out. And coming back up to your warrior two. Just for a moment, take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, turning your back foot parallel, stepping back to plank and through your vinyasa. If you need to take a child's pose, at any time. Please listen to your body. And just taking a deep breath in and out in your downward facing dog. And then looking forward, stepping or hopping to the front of your mat. Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Uttanasana, folding over. And then taking your arms in front of you or at the sides, all the way up, touching your palms, bringing them for a moment into Tadasana. Take a deep breath in and out. On your next inhalation, arms all the way up and either swan dive or hands through prayer, all the way down to Uttanasana. Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Stepping your right foot all the way back. Warrior two. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, left hand to the inside of the foot, right arm up. And then you can stay here. If we want to go with me into the bird of paradise, you're going to turn your right arm behind, right palm backwards, wrap it around. Take your left hand underneath you, find that bind, use a strap if you must. And then to get into your bird of paradise, you're going to look towards the front of your mat. You're going to bend into your back foot and just gently hop your foot to the front. I'm going to face the front so you can see what I'm doing. So both your feet are hip width apart. You're going to take the weight into your right foot and just release your left foot. Now, if this is enough for you, if this is where you're at, just practice that. And then if you'd like to go further, you're going to lift your right foot off the mat and just find your balance here, drawing into that right leg and then opening up your left hip. And once you're there, if this is where you're at, this is where you're at, or you can start to stretch into your left leg, but choose where you're at. Try to get that left shoulder back as much as possible. And then when you're done, coming back down, just gently releasing your hands, taking one deep breath in and out. And then taking your hands, first of all, coming to Ardha Uttanasana, interlacing your hands, stretching them out and just giving your shoulders a stretch as you fold over. Deep breath in and out. And then taking your hands down, stepping your right foot back, stepping your left foot back through your vinyasa. And into your downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and out. As you breathe in, looking forward, stepping or hopping to the front of your mat. Ardha Uttanasana. And then stepping your left foot back, setting up for your warrior number two. I'm going to turn around so that you can see what I'm doing. So once you're in your warrior two, taking a deep breath in. And then taking your right hand down to the mat, left arm up. If this is where you'd like to stay, you can stay here. Or if you're coming into bird of paradise, turning your left palm and wrapping your left hand around your back to find your right thigh. And then taking your right hand underneath your thigh and finding your left hand. Looking forward and then gently stepping. It might take a few steps to bring yourself to the front of your mat. So you're going to have your feet hip width apart. You're going to take your weight slowly onto your left foot and then lift your right leg. Now once you're here, try to first lift, really lift your torso and then open up that right knee. So once you feel like you've got a nice line,
Then you can start looking at stretching into your right leg. And then once you're done, you're gently going to come back. Release your head down. Take a deep breath in. And then stretching into those arms. So flat back first. Take your hands behind you at your sacrum. Interlace your hands. Stretch your arms and fold over. Bringing your arms overhead. Take a deep breath in and out. Another deep breath in and out. And then gently releasing your hands. Stepping back to plank through your final vinyasa. If you need a child's pose, please take your child's pose. Once you're in downward facing dog, taking a deep breath in and sighing it out. And then we're all going to meet by bringing our feet closer to our hands. We're going to come into a version of Malasana where your feet are hip width apart and they're facing forwards. Your feet are not turned out in this squat. So once you're in this squat, you're going to take your upper arms to the knees, basically. Bring your hands in a prayer position. And then just take your thumbs and connect them with your forehead. And just relax in this. Taking a few deep breaths in and out. And then gently releasing your hands down. Coming into another rabbit, so your feet are together, your knees are together. We did this at the beginning of the practice. So going into a child's pose, your forehead's on the ground, grabbing hold of your heels and keeping your forehead on the ground, rolling onto the crown of your head as you lift your hips towards the sky. Don't turn your head in this pose. And you'll feel a really nice stretch in your shoulders and your upper back. Your deep breaths. And gently releasing. And very slowly rolling up vertebrae by vertebrae. Sitting to one side of your feet, bringing your legs all the way around. Taking a deep breath in as you bring your feet to a butterfly position. So it's a very open, relaxed Baddha Konasana. Take your hands to your shins, palms up. Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe out, gently fold forward, bringing your forehead towards your feet. And just taking a few deep breaths in and out. And breathing in, slowly coming up. Coming to lie down on your mat. Hugging your knees into your chest. And just finishing off with a gentle twist. So letting your knees fall over to the right hand side. Just taking your left arm to a cactus position. Looking over towards that hand. Resting your right hand on your left thigh.
And bringing your knees back up, allowing them to fall over to the opposite side. Cactus arm with your right hand, looking over your right shoulder, left hand resting on your right thigh. And then gently bringing your knees back up, finishing off with a happy baby. Then allowing one leg to relax down at a time. Let your feet fall open quite wide apart. Your hands can relax at your sides, just away from the body, palms facing up. And then just taking a deep breath in and sighing it out. And just closing your eyes. And taking the next few moments to just allow all the hard work that you've done to integrate into your body and your mind. Very slowly bring yourself back, rubbing your fingers together, moving your toes, deepening your breathing, and then very slowly bending one knee in at a time and turning your body to lie on your side, and then very slowly coming up to a comfortable seated position, just taking your hands to your heart for a moment, closing your eyes and just taking this moment to acknowledge yourself. Acknowledge your uniqueness, acknowledge your sacredness, and just breathe deeply into that feeling and carry it with you for the rest of your day. And gently blinking your eyes open. Thank you.